On Tuesday, May the 2nd, Township of Mississippi Mills held a public town hall meeting to debate changes in rezoning of Don Maynard Park. Many residents showed up to voice their concern, and unfortunately, Town Council and the Mayor went in camera and called the police to have members of the public delegations wishing to address council ejected. This didn't sit well with many residents, and it has brought recent attention to the Mayor's conduct and his leadership in Almonte.
Any person may attend the public meeting and or make written or verbal representation either in support of or in opposition to the proposed official plan amendment and or the zoning bylaw amendment. Written submissions regarding the proposed amendments are to be filed with the clerk, Ontario. Funny, no time limit.
Brian Gallagher from the local landowner tax advocacy group. Brian.
Well, it's one of the few parks that we have that are mature. And despite the fact there isn't somebody in it all the time, it is loved by the people in the community and the groups that come and visit here.
And the mayor has nothing to say with regards to the official plan stating that schools should be bordering on parkland, and this satisfies that criteria perfectly, yet he wants to sell it?
Well, yes, they want to sell it, whatever their purpose is. It seems that it was their intent for a while now, and they're not going to change their minds. So.
Elected officials under a public meeting, the rezoning of Don Maynard Park, and Mario Cocoluzzi was there to present quite an extensive evaluation and appraisal of what these property values might do if these developments go ahead. Good afternoon, Mr. Cocoluzzi, and thanks for joining us. Give us a little bit of an idea of what took place leading up to Tuesday night itself, and how you were so nicely ejected by the local constabulary out of a public meeting, please.
Honestly, I went there with I had a written speech. I wanted to say my points calmly, because I have spoken in the past a little emotionally, because it is an emotional topic. So before I got a chance to speak, things had already started happening with Mr. Maynard, with the mayor, with just everything. We were limited to how much we can speak. Only 2 minutes was given. I had 4 pages to read. I knew it wasn't going to fly. This was not a good situation to be in. By the time I got to speak, the council had been broken up it was over. And then miraculously they came back 10 minutes later. Unbeknownst to me, they had already made a call to the OPP and called in the police, who were standing in the back room just waiting to see if anything else happened.
Council meeting, and tell us, our listeners, about what might happen to your property values and rights if this goes through.
Well, honestly, I always thought, well, if we get new homes, we might actually increase our property value. I didn't think really much about it. Then as we went on in this process, I started thinking and discussing it with my wife, and our house is now 17 years old. We have a lot of repairs to do. We're going to be competing with brand new homes. And that's when it dawned on me that we're going to lose valuation. And if we lose valuation, other homes around us are going to lose valuation. The town's going to lose taxes. They're going to lose their property taxes. It's going to decrease. Don't know what their thinking is. So when I first heard about this, I actually contacted the beautification committee of the town of Almonte. And I said, I've been told that you're thinking of selling green space land. I asked if it was true, and they said it's not only true, but they were bragging about building walkways, a splash pad, a wooden structure at another park. So they were going to destroy one park in favor of renovating another park. And part of their reasoning also was based on a 3-year-old survey that said because there was a playground already in the school play yard, that we didn't need a park. And I told the council back in August, I'm over 50 years old now. It's been a long time since I played in a playground. We don't need a playground. We need just beauty and green space. And that's why we came to Almonte in the first place. It's a beautiful town. Why destroy it?
Mr. Kukulutsi, if you had any words for Mayor Sean McLaughlin, what would you say to him with regards to his current leadership and in this town and moving forward to the 2018 election, having 1,300 signatures on a petition and packed council rooms that want to be heard, and his quelling of public discourse? What do you have to say to your mayor?
Is this going to be on a family news hour? Because I could say a lot. I'm not going to. I just hope he's got some other plans for the future, because being a mayor, I don't think it's going to be part of his future.
Another account of Tuesday night comes from Gloria Van Dusen Leonard, a resident of the town of Almonte. Gloria, you were on CFRA last night as a caller, and we're glad we sought you out because you had some very good perspectives on Tuesday night. Could you share them with our viewers and give us a little bit of an idea of what you think about public discourse in Almonte these days?
Well, we all went to the public meeting with the thought that we were going to all get to say our speech, and mine was probably only 2 minutes long, but the first part of it went very well. And then when I started saying what all the platforms of all the council and the mayor were about saving parkland and green space, I was cut right off and told that they didn't want to hear any of that.
What makes you angrier, the redevelopment of Don Maynard Park or the lack of leadership and the quelling of public discourse in a public meeting that is meant for open debate for residents to have their views heard?
Well, a little bit of both. We built our house in '87, and we have lived next to the park the whole time. We built there because there was to be a park there. Every part on the community plan was to be built adjacent to schools all the time. The Lanark Community Support Group for the young adults with disabilities adopted that park. They came once a week. They sat there in the shade, they weeded the garden, and they spent a lot of time there. They were told before we were even notified that that park was no longer theirs, that they'd be given another park. Holy Name Mary School was approached before we were told and asked if they would buy part of Don Maynard Park.
Those rights.
Well, we've been told that they're going to change the official plan, that they can do whatever they want. And they've also been told by one of the senior staff members that we will rezone it to whatever we want. So if you just drive around Almonte, you can see some of the rezoning that they've done, and it's terrible what they're doing. You can't have a red heart on the outside and a black heart on the inside, because that's what's happening to our Almonte, the friendly town. Mr. McLaughlin, you have made a terrible mistake. You don't know Don Maynard. You don't know his family. You don't know the people in this town. This is our heritage. We don't want it gone. Don Maynard Park is not a time limit. It was given to him forever. Please respect all that he has done for this town. We love Don Maynard, and he's helped many children in this area, a lot of children and a lot of families. Thank you very much for your time.
I'm here this afternoon with Mr. Michael Holland, resident of Almonte that borders on Don Maynard Park. As you can see in the background, Mr. Holland's house was designed with the front door facing a beautiful side view park here so that he can enjoy the park with his wife next to a lovely school. Mr. Holland, good afternoon. Give us a little bit of an idea of your frustration in dealing with the city and how you feel about 5 houses being constructed right beside your front door.
Well, we moved here and built the house in 1998, and we built the house because in the official version of the town plan for this area was a park. So we built the house facing the park. And the problem with that was that we went along just fine, and in 2002 the park was then built, and everything was fine for the last 15 years, and all of a sudden they decided to build houses. So instead of looking down a nice park and across the street, none of these houses were built. We were the first house, and the Leonards were down below. So, you know, we all of a sudden were just taken by total surprise. All of a sudden they decided they're going to build this park, get $300,000 apparently, and give it to Gemmell Park, which I won't go into that because I can tell you horror stories about Gemmell Park, but this is a disaster for us.
Have you done any analysis on where your property values are going to go? Have you got an appraisal at
Yes,
post-scenario?
yes. Yeah, we will lose at a minimum of $30,000 in the cost of our house.
Anything else you want to say to the mayor in closing, Mr. Holland, today?
I don't have anything kind to say about him.
Very good. Judging by the lean spread of votes in the 2014 election, this is not going to prove very helpful to him in his possible bid to be re-elected in 2018. Would you agree with that?
Well, let's put it this way. There were 16,000 votes, 1,600 votes, and we got a petition for 1,300. So I would guess that he doesn't have a chance in the dog's breakfast to get elected again.
Mike Holland doing the math here in Almonte at Don Maynard Park. Public discontent on the lack of public discourse on a recent town hall meeting. Mr. McLaughlin will be up next, and we'll get his side of the story on what happened Tuesday night. I'm Guy Arnold from the Capital Voice, reporting here from the lovely town of Almonte.